Hi, my name is Robert Chelle, and I'm an attorney with over 2 decades of experience assisting physician assistants with employment contract and independent contractor agreement review. Today, I'm just going to make a quick video about kind of what are the key components of a contract review with a PA, what are the most important things, and then kind of what to look for. So first, compensation is obviously pretty important for almost anyone. For most PAs, it's either straight base or a combination. If you work for a hospital or healthcare network, it could be RVU based. Maybe it's a straight base with an RVU productivity bonus. If you're in private practice, they don't generally use RVUs. They'll use some kind of net collections model, meaning you'll get a percentage of whatever the practice collects based upon your personally performed services. So making sure that it's fair and at an industry standard amount in your whatever specialty you're practicing in. The timing of the bonuses are fair. That all of those things are important to most PAs, and we'll kind of go over that and make sure that they're being paid fairly and reasonably. Next, how to terminate the contract. Making certain there's without cause termination, meaning you can terminate the contract at any time for any reason with a certain amount of notice. Generally 60 to 90 days is the industry standard amount. You don't want to get a situation where you are stuck in a contract, can't terminate it without cause. Maybe you don't feel safe, they're not practicing safely. Maybe you think they're doing some shady insurance, fraud type stuff, or you're just unhappy. So you want to make certain you always have without cause termination. Non-competes are very important for any PA. More and more states are starting to limit, restrict, ban non-competes for healthcare providers. But for the most part, in most states, non-competes are still enforceable. And so for a PA, I think it's very important, and the most important part of any non-compete is the scope. And why that is important is, as a PA, you can do different specialties. And so let's say you're working in ortho, and you're working for an orthopedic clinic, and your non-compete says you can't practice as a physician assistant, full stop, for 1 year and 10 miles from the clinic or something like that. If you are tied to an area, family there, kids are going to school, you absolutely can't leave. Making certain that the scope of what you can't do after the contract ends is what you're doing for that employer. So as using ortho, for example, you need to make sure it says you can't practice in an orthopedic clinic for 1 year and 10 miles. And that way, even if you want to be an ortho for the rest of your career, you can at least do something else, family medicine, or be a hospitalist or emergency medicine or urgent care, whatever, for that year period, and then hop back into ortho if you want. You want options, right? To be limited in any way is always difficult for a professional, but having more options is very important. Next would be malpractice. So is it an occurrence policy? Is it a claims made policy where you have to purchase tail? It's not exorbitant malpractice rates for a physician assistant, but it still is an amount of money if you have to purchase your own tail that you don't want to have to worry about. So that's something we would negotiate. Benefits wise, are they paying for your CE, your license, DEA, societies, associations? These are things that you would want the employer to pay for, and the amount can be negotiated if necessary. And then kind of supervision as well. Who are you collaborating with? What's the relationship going to be? What kind of support would be provided? Because I can promise you it varies based upon the physician and the practice and that type of thing. Especially if you're new, you don't want to get in a situation where you just don't feel like you're being supported. So making certain that the delegation agreement between you and the physician is clear, and then you also have at least some trust in the physician who is doing the supervising. So that's just kind of a brief breakdown of a contract review for a physician assistant. If you have any questions, concerns about an employment agreement or independent contractor agreement, feel free to contact me. I'll put contact info in the description below the video, and I appreciate you watching. Once again, my name is Rob Chelle. All right, thanks. Take care.